showtime.
What is going on, YouTube universe? This is Zirra, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Zirra Reacts, the channel where we break down, interpret, and do whatever we have to do to videos on the internet. That is when I don't sporadically just disappear and drop off the face of the earth for months at a time like I've done this time, because it has been 3 months since my last upload, and I promised you guys last time that I wouldn't be doing that shit again. Bad, Zirra, fucking bad! I do apologise that it has taken so long to get to this point. There has been a lot that has happened externally off camera. I've shared some of those insights on my social media accounts where I've been able to, and on my gaming channel I've alluded to some of those as well. But a combination of full-time study load, being a full-time single parent, and I've had to go through the rigors of family court with custody, and I've just recently gotten divorced, you know, from my now ex-wife, and there were a couple of instances where I ended up in hospital and had some stays and some surgeries, and it was a culmination of a lot of shit cram-packed into the space of a couple of months. So I do apologize that I haven't been able to find the time to get content out, because I do want to grow this reaction channel and this community that we're building here into an absolute juggernaut, and it's hard to do that when content isn't being produced. Which leads me to today's video, and this is one that I had planned on dropping in like a 2 to 3 part mini-series per se, kind of like how we did the live performance of The Warning, but some of you had suggested that sitting down and doing a full album reaction and review would be the way to, you know, better way to handle it. And I've done this before with the previous Warning album, and we did that with another reaction channel, another reactor, another content creating friend of mine in Psycho Nation. But today we turn our attention to The Warning's latest album, and it is one that features some songs that we've already heard through reactions on this channel before, and some that I'm going into completely blind. I still, to this point in time, have not heard a handful of the songs on this album, because I try to keep things as genuine as possible when it comes to my reaction videos. I want to take things in for the first time with you all at home. Obviously, we've heard tracks like Sick, we've heard More, we've heard Automatic Sun. So when it comes to taking those in, it is just a chance for us to experience that together again. But other songs, first time listening for me, it could be multiple time listening for you, but I'm hoping you guys enjoy this reaction nonetheless. How we are going to do it is, I'm going to play each track, and at the end I'm going to give my input into that song itself, and then at the end of hearing the entire album, give one final review, and that'll be it. So this is going to be a longer form video. I do hope you guys don't mind that fact. I do hope you guys stick around and watch it in its entirety. I would appreciate it if you did. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time. A lot of you are from the Warning Army, and you turn out for content like this, so if you have, and if you are, sit back, relax, do whatever you have to do to get in the zone. I am pantless, and there will be one day where I show you that, but I'm scared of getting shut down, and I don't want to be doing that shit. But I can assure you, I'm in the zone, I'm ready to go. Let's take a breath together. And out. And let's prepare for a full serving of The Warning. Cheeky little FBI, hey, we've been warned. We've been warned. ballsy as hell.
Prodigal son, yeah, I know you felt this. Feeding your pride, put your ego where your mouth is. It's countless how many times you push dream over again, but it's way too late. Nothing left to hate. Such a bitter taste, what a shame. Yeah, what you gonna say when you're choking on my name? 'Cause it's over. 6 feet deep, I'll be seeing you underground. Got you figured out. Can't get any lower now. 'Cause it's over. 6 feet deep, I'll be seeing you underground. We're all seeing black now. Meet your maker and bow down. Ooh, but you pray till you got till you chewed up a spine. So what you gonna say when you're choking on my name? 'Cause it's over. 6 feet deep, I'll be seeing you underground.
Yes.
Got you figured out. Can't get any lower now. 'Cause it's over. 6 feet deep, I'll be seeing you underground.
Oh, I like that.
I'll be seeing you underground.
That was fucking phenomenal. That is one of the best music videos they have pieced together to date. And I'll explain why shortly. Oh, they're ghosts. A twist in the tail, ladies and gentlemen. 6 feet deep, keep me fed. The warning. Okay, so straight up, there are some pop culture references in there straight away that I recognised. Obviously, there is a theming incredibly to Stranger Things, I feel anyway. There was a nod to Nightmare on Elm Street at the end with the clothing coming out of the ground and hitting the roof, very similar to when teenage heartthrob Johnny Depp gets dragged into his bed within A Nightmare on Elm Street and the blood flows out and spews over the roof as well. So a lot of 80s kind of horror-drenched campiness within that, which I absolutely love, because I love kind of really campy, nostalgic feelings when people turn to 70s and 80s and even 90s kind of retrospectives. The theming and tone around it as well, very much to me, comes across like Narcissista did. Now, Narcissista obviously was a proverbial fuck you to the Mexican media and people getting stuck into them for taking a more kind of Western kind of take on the English dialect instead of speaking in their own tongue. So then when they did decide we're going to produce a song within our native tongue, it's going to be a fuck you to you guys, and it's going to be a, you know, a big middle finger to the industry and everybody that was trying to drag them down. And in an essence, this here, I feel, delivers on that, because it could be a metaphor for burying the disbelievers, the haters, the doubters, and we kind of dive a little bit deeper. I feel that it, at its core, is a song that produces a story that it shows that you're dealing with someone who has a complex that needs to be grounded back into reality a little bit more. You know, they're kind of living in a fantastical world and need to be rooted into reality. It also comes across as if somebody is venting and needs to push somebody off of their pedestal, which again links back to that kind of doubters and the disbelievers kind of feel. This was a great start to the album. That music video in its own right was so well done. You know, showing the girls when they were younger, showing that they were metaphorically haunted through the transition to the young women they are now and the performers they are. You know, Powell's drums going missing and getting slammed on the ground and having the writing shut up on the wall and you can't. It's painting the picture that when they were younger, people were telling them that they couldn't do this, that they shouldn't do this, to keep quiet, but they've grown into this musical powerhouse that they are now. It is the perfect coming of age kind of tale, and couldn't have asked for a better start to the album. We really couldn't have. Now that we've heard this, something brand new, let's settle into the next track. It's something we've heard before, a little bit of Sick, my unofficial rock anthem of 2024. Let's take this one in. I know you're going to love this as much as I will.
Help me now, 'cause I only debate when I see the problem staring straight at my face. I wanna kiss it, make it my own. Wanna tint the color till it's faded and gone. Bleeding just to feel alive. I'm rotting in my place. Life is nothing more than passing time. Give me violence, kill the silence. Till it makes me feel, till it makes me feel, till it makes me feel sick.
Fuck, I love this song.
Make mistakes and live in regret. Don't wanna give, just take it out of my head. And if I break it, fake it. Don't care what comes next. If there's no place to go, deal with it when I'm dead. Breathing just to live my life. I'm running in my place. Sick and tired of always wasting time. Give me violence, kill the silence. Till it makes me feel, till it makes me feel, till it makes me feel sick. Leave me ruined. Show me that I'm human. Till it makes me feel, till it makes me feel, till it makes me feel sick. I'm running in place, I'm running in place, I'm begging you. Give me violence, kill the silence. Give me violence, kill the silence. Till it makes me feel, till it makes me feel, till it makes me feel sick. Leave me ruined. Show me that I'm human. Till it makes me feel, till it makes me feel, till it makes me feel sick.
If that doesn't get you worked up and want to just get up and bop, I don't know what will. As I said, my unofficial rock anthem in 2024, and as far as rock songs go, I've seen actually many people have this within contention for one of their favourite rock songs of the year, just like myself, and that is so great to see, that so many people are taking in the Warnings music and regarding their songs as something that can be considered as a best of, and without a doubt, Sick has been the pinnacle of their work, or one of the best works they've produced for the year. Hands down, without question. The track goes hard, the music video goes hard, and I just can't help but get up and about whenever that song's played. We've already heard this song in the past, so we know that it explores themes of self-destruction, rebelling against societal norms, and the desire for emotional intensity, and where there's a lack thereof and wanting more. It conveys a very strong desire to break free from societal expectation and experience a more passionate and intense existence. Give me violence, feed the silence, everything else. It's wanting something different than what you've already got, but something more intense, something passionate, wanting to feel something that they haven't felt before. It's a true deep dive into yearning for something beyond the ordinary and the rejection of being complacent, and it goes so hard. I love it so much. Let's move on. I don't want to dwell any further. We've heard two bangers back to back. We've got to keep the ball rolling here.
I only ache in the wake of a broken never. There is no thrill in the crime. I have lost the pleasure. Skin on skin means nothing if there is no blood to bleed. Simply quenching hunger doesn't kill the need. Hands always move on the road. Self-inflicted torture, feel, imitate, stimulate, futuristic horrors, basking in the glory of our manufactured vice. Fade away to nothing, 'cause now nothing will suffice. I don't mean to make you nervous. I've been sad but not depressed. Wasting breath, waiting for nothing, 'cause you won't apologize.
Oh, I love this.
Clean the mess that you made, own up to the blame. At the end of the day, so easy to say, it's not your fault now. It's not your fault now. Apologize. Nails on my skin, just to check if my heart's still beating. Head in my hands, only I hear the quiet screaming. Shaking turns to crying in my short-lived fake to line. The bitterness of trying haunts me through the night. And I don't mean to make you nervous. I've been sad but not depressed. Lately I've been feeling something when I'm high up on my meds. I finally get a scream, wearing a name that's not my own. It's only in these moments where you truly feel alone. Apologize. 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 Clean the mess that you made, own up to the blame. At the end of the day, so easy to say, it's not your fault now. It's not your fault now. A name on a screen means nothing to me. Hypnotic machine, your hands are clean. It's not your fault now. It's not your fault now. Apologize. Clean the mess that you made, own up to the blame. At the end of the day, so easy to say, it's not your fault now. It's not your fault now.
Okay, so tempo shift from the first couple of songs, which is okay, because when it comes to the warning, we know that they can go to different gears, they go to different places, they bounce between different genres, different tones. So to have a song kind of pare back but still have that heaviness where it's needed is still very trademark warning. And we know that these girls can give us something so incredibly heavy and balls to the wall, and then pair it back to softer guitars, some piano keys coming through as well. And some of their best is when they do that pairing back. And Apologize is a song that up until this point I haven't heard, and it took a little bit to get into it, but it found its rhythm, and that's what these girls always produce. They give you songs that, you know, might take a little bit to hook you in, but once it hooks you, they've got you deep, and that's very much what Apologize does to me in my, you know, own retrospective. I feel this song dives into themes of betrayal, regret, empowerment, conveying strong emotional responses to being wronged, and highlighting the refusal of accepting insincere apology. As I stumble across my words, I apologize. And rejecting attempts of reconciliation. It's a reflection of narrative of standing up for yourself, recognizing self-worth, rejecting manipulative behavior. I drew a lot from that because that is something that I have dealt with personally in my own walk of life, especially recently. Part of why maybe I've been missing off of camera for a little bit, but we won't dive into that. That's how I interpreted this song, and the beauty of the warning, even though they do sometimes come out and tell us plainly what these songs mean, you know, as artists, it's always good to put music out there that have open interpretation. And while they can tell you the meaning that they meant to deliver, as a consumer, as somebody taking this music in, being able to kind of interpret it and link it to your own experiences and your own life is such a beautiful thing. And I feel the warning consistently bring music into the fold that allows the listeners to truly envelop themselves in the meaning and kind of make self-meaning from what has been produced. And Apologize is one that kind of cut deeper into me than I thought it would. I really enjoyed it, but we've got to move on. We've got more songs to listen to. We can't keep on one spot. We've got to keep moving. This train's going to keep on rolling, baby. Let's take in another track. Okay, this one is not in English, and I am so keen to take this in.
El hambre que está consumiendo tu interior, que sin esfuerzo puedo yo saciar. La sed que te da solo me hace recordar con qué poco yo te puedo ahogar. Sin fallar, lo que tú puedas necesitar, aquí va a estar, aquí está. Dime qué más quieres, ya no te lo niegues. A escondidas como me lo llevo todo. De mí no te vas a esconder, sé que siempre vas a volver. Aunque a veces quieras escapar, yo sé que aquí te vas a quedar.
Fucking dig this.
Pretendo sanar la misma herida que yo abrí. Te lastimo y aún vuelves a mí. Al manipular el poder que tú me das, yo decido cómo es el final. Sin fallar, lo que tú puedas necesitar, aquí va a estar, aquí está. Dime qué más quieres, ya no te lo niegues. A escondidas como me lo llevo todo. De mí no te vas a esconder, sé que siempre vas a volver. Aunque a veces quieras escapar, yo sé que aquí te vas a quedar. Dime qué más quieres, dime qué más quieres, dime qué más quieres, dime qué más quieres.
They're really stepping up their video production.
Dime qué más quieres, ya no te lo niegues. A escondidas como me lo llevo todo. De mí no te vas a esconder, sé que siempre vas a volver. Sabes cómo va a terminar, pero aquí te vas a quedar.
okay, I've gone on record many times before with these girls, whenever they take a step back from producing a song in English and they turn to their native tongue, it is just otherworldly to take into. It is, I feel they go to a different place, and the energy that always comes from that is so incredibly well done. And again, that stepped up the tempo from Apologize into this song, so incredibly well done. The video production was great. We saw the story told, obviously hatching the plot to kill somebody and then get their hands on the key and then get whatever is in that lockbox. And kind of maybe a little bit hard to make meaning of the song if you don't know what's being spoken about, but as far as I took on, I felt the tone of the song was very both introspective and defiant in nature, showcasing the signature blend that The Warning presents, I suppose, when it comes to rock energy and raw emotion, and blending those two together, which again, very trademark Warning to do that. By taking the instrumentation and how powerful that instrumentation was with passionate vocals, again in a foreign language. And I just feel, not just with The Warning, but when any band takes on a track in a different language, it again just takes them to a new place. It gives you something that you're not used to hearing, and allows you to take in the beauty of another culture. I feel they really captured the sense of liberation that comes with standing up for oneself, acknowledging breaking point in a relationship, which what went down just there, and serves as a declaration of self-respect and independence, resonating with people that may have had similar struggle. I don't know whether we could look at this song and kind of piece together from the video clip that there's a sense of liberating yourself from a relationship, I suppose, with, seeing somebody killed and then framing someone and kind of, taking the key and escaping from that. I don't know what to make of that personally, because again, it's a song that I haven't heard before, so I haven't really put much thought into looking up lyrics or anything like that. It is something that I can do at a later time to kind of really ground myself into what was produced here, but that song slapped. And speaking of slap, we're about to step into a song that we have reacted to already on the channel, but I welcome more of it. I forgot how much I love the bass in this song. I love more so much, and there is so much creativity that plays off of the terminology of more with this song. The aspect ratio of the video itself starting very small, and as the track goes on, by the time it's finished, it is full length. Going from black and white to colour, going from the girls being by themselves very minimalistic to having so much going on screen. There is just so much that pops about this and screams more, and you want more. It is about the insatiable desire for success, validation, power, and the consequences that come with that endless pursuit. It's a song that has lyrics that explore the theme of wanting more than what somebody already has. As you know, you can tell, you just see the increasing amount of things surrounding them, the multiplication of them as well, you know, having many Pows and Arles and Dannys all on screen at one given time. It is a depiction of relentless ambition that can consume a person as well, with wanting more. Portraying a narrative of never feeling satisfied, you know, craving more, wanting more, needing more, always wanting recognition, always wanting to be in control, always wanting to be fulfilled in life, and the internal conflict that arises from having those desires. It's straightforward, I feel, with its delivery, and the creativity to push it is absolutely sensational.
Get me out of my head, drag me out of my bed, and make me move around to forget. There is time that needs to be wasted to feel something instead. I will dive in my own delusions, draping mirrors again, safe inside of my own illusion. It's the hope that kills you. So I close my eyes till it all fades, and so I close my eyes, then it all fades.
I can dig this.
Oscillating, breaking, trying again, but I'll just close my eyes till it all fades. Stepping into the void, even if it amounts to nothing, silence is to avoid, reaching out to hold on to something I wish I could enjoy. Worthless means of communicating, words that only destroy. Leave me feeling. Oh, I just close my eyes till it all fades, and so I close my eyes, then it all fades. Yet I'm still aching, breaking, trying again, but I'll just close my eyes till it all fades. I can't help but feel.
Yes.
I can't tell it's real. It's the hope that kills you.
Fuck. Yes.
So I close my eyes till it all fades, and so I close my eyes, then it all fades. Yet I'm still aching, breaking, trying again, but I just close my eyes till it all fades.
Well done. Fuck. Just... Yes. We just spoke about the fact that these girls can pare it back. And while, you know, large portions of that were pared back, it had delivered one of the darkest, brooding instrumental performances throughout of this album so far. That was such a perfect balance between light and dark. It really was. And as far as the themes for that song that you can kind of pick up on, maybe, you know, there's a theme of seeking refuge from reality and the emotional struggles that come with trying to avoid pain or the confrontation of hard truths. You know, we've already taken on themes of being grounded into reality. This seems to be wanting to escape reality. The complexity of coping mechanisms and the duality of relief and grief kind of bouncing off of one another. It was so well done. You know, the lyrics point to a desire to escape those overwhelming emotions and situations, touching on internal conflict and, you know, the discomfort and, you know, the knowing of, you know, that avoidance is only a temporary solution. It's kind of a theme that we have seen go through with The Warning. They kind of draw from past relationships and, you know, failed love and, you know, wanting to break away from toxicity. I'm stumbling across my words because I'm really dumbfounded so far by how fucking great this album is. And I really can't wait to hit play and to let this continue going on, because this album so far has been an absolute banger. Can I say Ali's bass lines throughout this whole album so far?
You can take all that you want, but it will never be enough. Cut me open, pay attention on display. I'm bleeding rust like a machine. I will complete, I will obey, I will perfect my every move, my every word, till there is nothing of me left. Can't keep hating you. It's changing. Please don't say I don't care. It's such an easy lie. It's such an easy lie.
Polar opposite to escapism.
Are you satisfied? Piece by piece you take. I'm stuck in atrophy. I'm trapped inside this state. I fade like a machine. I will complete. I will obey. I will perfect my every move, my every word, till there is nothing of me left. Can't keep hating you. It's changing. Please don't say I don't care. It's such an easy lie. Such an easy lie. You can take all that you want, but it will never be enough. Piece by piece I break away. Can't keep hating you. It's changing. Please don't say I don't care. It's such an easy lie. It's such an easy lie. It's such an easy lie. Such an easy lie. Tell me, are you satisfied?
Yes. I'm thoroughly fucking satisfied, and I don't even know where to begin. That was so incredibly well done. And as I said, so polarizing to the track we heard prior, because the track we heard prior was wanting to break away from reality and kind of, the recognition and acceptance that, there's only temporary escape from toxic relationships and stuff like that. And then we step into Satisfied, which addresses the themes of disillusionment and longing and the pursuit of fulfillment, conveying a sense of striving to be content within a situation and the frustration of never quite reaching that contentment. Touching on emotional toll of chasing dreams and desires and always seeming to just be out of reach and wanting to do anything to make that possible. It again throws these conflicting themes that they're talking about through this album and bounces them off of each other, and these songs complement each other so incredibly well, and the Warning's raw sound just enhances the themes that they're conveying. The powerful riffs, the intense vocals, they all emphasize the emotional weight that this song, presents to us. It's truly a satisfying experience when you kind of piece all these pieces together and, create the complete puzzle. This so far has been a flawless album. I'm yet to find something that I can discredit or nitpick, and that's what I love about The Warning. They very rarely deliver tracks like that. I don't think I am yet to find a track where I can definitively say I dislike it. And I do that with many bands I listen to. These girls so far, though, they've got a clean track record. I don't know about you guys at home. Feel free to let me know in the comments down below. Oh, speaking of Ale's bass lines.
You're making it to just a burnout.
That was so incredibly playful, and that just touches on just who the girls are and their personality and their energy, and I love when that translates through not just the music that they make, but the visuals that we get with their video, packages and the video music, the music videos. I am stumbling on my words, I apologize. The epitome of this song obviously speaks to the mental and physical exhaustion, the pressure that they feel with being artists and being on the road, the emotional toll of consistently pushing yourself beyond your limits and just wanting a break. And obviously the video clip takes that fun perspective of looking for somebody to replace them so they have time to sit down and kind of recharge. The lyrics capture the overwhelming feeling of being worn down. I think that speaks to the video clip as well, and they pair themselves so incredibly well. It is great when the girls not just give us a song to take in, and kind of comprehend our own meaning, but when we're delivered with a video that pairs with it and paints the picture of what they're trying to push, makes it so much easier to put the pieces together, and this song does that tremendously. I mean, it's about reaching your breaking point where effort starts to feel unsustainable and you're feeling run down, you're feeling it's not worth it, and it's the epitome of what every artist would feel when they're constantly on the road and they're breaking their backs to deliver performance after performance. Eventually, they're going to hit that brick wall, and that's what burnout is all about. And that, I feel, would resonate most with people who have faced similar struggles with balancing their aspirations and their well-being. I know as a content creator, I've hit that brick wall many of times. I'm a university student full-time, and I've hit that brick wall with assessments and learning and everything's involving that as well. And even as a parent, I've hit that proverbial brick wall many a times. And I think many of you at home would have hit that proverbial brick wall and know how it feels to be burnt out and want that recharge. Do I feel burnt out listening to this, though? I might be stumbling on my words, but I am loving every minute of it. Let's move on. The next track is called Sharks. Oh, I'm digging this. Oh, fuck. I'd give a standing ovation if I could. Holy shit. This might come across as a controversial take. Some people might think I'm out of my fucking mind, and it might be because I've been binging a specific band recently, but there are, in my mind anyway, old school Linkin Park nuances within the instrumentals of that song, especially when it gets heavy. Feel free to disagree or even agree with me in the comments down below, but when these girls go balls to the wall, it is something magical, and I feel they've really come into their element with going balls to the wall. This track has been incredibly heavier than their previous work, and I'm really digging the intensity and the heaviness that they're diving into. It is absolutely incredible. Now, this, I feel, paints a powerful commentary in deception, manipulation, and the predatory nature of individuals or systems in society. You know, the euphemism of bleeding out in a pool of sharks, and, you know, sharks smelling the blood in the water. It's like, you know, being surrounded by systems, by people, by the industry, and they feel like they're being closed in on, that they're being hunted down, that they're worried about sinking and drowning and becoming fish food, basically, for lack of a better word. It is as I said, the metaphor of the representation of being the prey to others, being taken advantage of, having that vulnerability, you know, against other people, exploring themes of distrust, awareness of the need to be cautious in a world where people might not always have good intentions, and always having to have eyes, you know, metaphorically at the back of your head so you know exactly what's going on around you. This was so incredibly well done. Every song they have given us on this album paints a literal picture, and if they haven't given us that picture firsthand with an actual, you know, official music video, the lyrics themselves guide us down the path of knowing exactly what they want us to know, and there is familiarity between their lyrics and every person at home, and that what makes this band so incredibly fucking awesome. They liken everything to the real world, and it makes them so impressionable, so personable, so lovable. I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. This is Hell You Call a Dream, and you've been recommending this one. Yes!
Every time that chaos drives me wild like an animal, just wanna breathe. Maybe I wanna become what I feel. And it's how you call a dream, how you call
Yes. Yes. Holy shit. Ladies and gentlemen, I love when they do these kind of live performance music videos because it gives us the chance to see their energy and their charisma on stage and how they bounce off of one another. You know, just seeing, you know, Pow on the drums and turning to the camera with a cheeky smile. Seeing the way Danny kind of interacts with the crowd. How Ale interacts with the crowd. Danny's vocals in that song actually gave me chills when she hit those higher notes at the back end of the song. That was great. I can understand now why you guys have been saying, Zirra, get onto, you know... Oh my god. That was so... I love it. It's like we're sitting down for a buffet, which is kind of ironic given the name of this album, right? But we're eating well with this album, and we're past the hors d'oeuvres, we're past the opening course, we're now hitting the mains, we're getting to the sweet point, we're getting to the desserts, and everything is so... It's so tasty. This was absolutely sensational. Hell You Call a Dream clearly resonates with... You know, it's going to resonate with people that have experienced moments of doubt or regret in their pursuit of their aspirations. You know, the shining a light on the sacrifices and inner battles that accompany, you know, the ambitious pursuits in life. A reminder that there's a fine line between passion and obsession. You know, the contrast between the ideal version of a dream and the harsh reality that can unfold when you strive for it too much. It is literally living in hell when you're picturing this dream kind of, you know, scenario, but you're struggling to get there and you're going the wrong ways about it. It is, again, a perfectly painted picture. These girls, it is like this album is a canvas, and each of them have picked up a paintbrush and have just created a masterpiece. They've given us a Mona Lisa. Fucking canvas after canvas after canvas. We only have 2 tracks left. We're getting to the back end. I'm so disappointed that it's coming to a close because this has been so great. We're going to get heavy again, aren't we?
I do it regardless. It's a machine. I'm the one running it. Go through the motions, consume all devotion. You greedy little fucker. You sink your teeth and leave me yelling for another.
Yes.
Suffer sorry, but you keep it undercover. Let's spin it apart and all on a garden. You willingly participate. You crack a smile and close your eyes and disassociate. Living the problem, but you know you're still a part of it. You hate that you're part of it. You're part of it. Watch me, touch me, pull the strings like you do. Love me, hate me, am I worth it to you? Shovel it down my throat, wash it down with remorse. Make me be perfect for you. I can't point the finger at you anymore. I couldn't die as the martyr. Now I've become the green little fucker. Sink my teeth and beat you all up for another. Just a for starter, but I keep it undercover. They're spinning apart and alone in a garden. I willingly participate. I crack a smile and close my eyes and disassociate. Blaming the problem, but I know I'm still a part of it. I hate that I'm part of it. Hate that I'm part of it. Watch me, touch me.
ladies, can we get a W in the chat for greedy little fucker, please? I think this is the first time we've heard them swear. They're really coming into their own. They're growing up. We're seeing them flourish, ladies and gentlemen, especially with a channel that thrives on swearing myself. It is good to see them getting down and dirty. This was great. It was, again, pared back a little bit from the heaviness that we have heard earlier on, but still just came across so brilliant and so perfectly well done. Consume. It's easy to see. Desire. Power, insatiable nature of human consumption, whether you're consuming material things, experiences, emotions, it is taking everything in around you. It is the idea of how people can become driven by their cravings and their desires to the point where they are consumed by them, and that's all that really defines who they are. Touching on the duality of being both the consumer and the consumed and bouncing off of one another, and highlighting the self-destructive cycle that comes with that. And, the excessiveness and the uncontrolled nature that desires can take. Man, it's not just the themes within each song that bounce off of one another, but each of these tracks have all embodied, polarizing but very contrasting and similar themes that have made a roller coaster ride from start to finish. We've hit highs and lows, but we've seen a similar theme traverse through that entire experience. I'm bitterly disappointed we are coming to the end with the next song, but it's Automatic Sun, and we love Automatic Sun. So let's take that in, and then we'll take a few minutes to sit back and just recap everything we've taken on board. If there's any track to round out this brilliant album, Automatic Sun's the one, and we've heard it before. We fucking love it. Let's get into it. Are you ready?
Les tenemos una sorpresa especial. Vamos a tocar una canción que no ha salido todavía. Esta canción se llama Automatic Sun.
Somehow you still got me trapped. The silence at midnight just feels like your nails down my back. Try not to think about it too much. With the weight of everything's just an unavoidable headache. But you got me begging, stay, burning your eyes. Look what you're doing to me. Give me your side, 'cause I'm ready to go. Look what you're doing to me. And if you call to me, will you be my mirror, reflect what I need? Oh, you're so out of reach, yeah. The way you hurt me's never enough. This addiction's hard to get up. If you want it all, then just take it. 'Cause you got me, you got me. Burning your automatic sun. Look what you're doing to me. Give me your side, 'cause I'm ready to go. Look what you're doing to me. Try not to think about it too much. The way the weight of everything's just an unavoidable headache. The way you hurt me's never enough. This addiction's hard to give up. If you want it all, then just take it, take it, take it. Burning your automatic sun. Look what you're doing to me. Give me your side, 'cause I'm ready to go.
What a way to cap it off. Holy shit. We've obviously listened to Automatic Sun before, so we know it dives into themes of control, of conformity, loss of individuality to a mechanized system-driven world, the conveyance of living in an environment where your actions and responses become automatic, as if people are driven by an external self, an automatic sun, symbolizing the source of light or guidance that is artificial or imposed on you, and is that kind of drawing light and essence rather than one that is natural or chosen because you're being forced and driven to it. It is so well done. This album. Would it be wrong of me to suggest that this album is a 10 out of 10? I seriously am trying to find somewhere to fault it, and nothing's perfect. So, giving this a 9 or a 9.5 might feel a little bit better. But this, to me, and I've heard a lot of different albums throughout this year, this, to me, is a top 3 album for me, quite easily. It is, in my opinion, the best collective album we've been given from The Warning to date. Even though I love their older stuff, this is grounded in heavy, ballsy bass lines, brilliant vocals, the instrumentization or the instrumentals, however you want to word it. Collectively, the 3 of them are fucking magical, and the resonating themes of being within a world where you need to be aware of your surroundings and the people around you, and burying disbelievers, burying doubters, being within relationships and involved with people that you sometimes want to escape reality to break away from those relationships, but then on the other hand having other relationships where you want to ground yourself back into reality. It is a really polarizing album that bounces themes off of one another so incredibly well, and I'm going to listen to this album over and over now. The beauty about being able to do this reaction and this review is now I don't have to put all of these songs on hold. I can now add them to my playlist and run them endlessly. These were some of the, as I said, some of the heaviest songs we have heard. There is a handful of songs here that I would rate as some of my most loved Warning songs now, and I've got quite a selection of songs from their back catalogues that I rate so incredibly highly, more so than other songs, and some of those, selections kind of, have been met with confrontation before. A song, for example, I'll throw out is Dull Knives Cut Better, is one of my favourite Warning songs, and some people don't really resonate with that, and I can understand that. The beauty of these girls is they have delivered so many brilliant tracks to date that we have a plethora to choose from when it comes to selecting our favourites. When I turn attention to this album, I can't look past Sick, because as I said, Sick has been my unofficial 2024 anthem, but I mean 6 Feet Deep stands out as a track for me on this. Sharks was incredible. I loved the polarization between escapism and satisfied. Burnout was fun as a visual kind of thing. It was, and Hell You Call a Dream, I mean, that's a song that you guys have been begging to see. I'm going to do another individual reaction to Hell You Call a Dream, see if I can find a different version that isn't like a live performance. I wanted to mix up this video with lyric videos, with official music videos, with some live performances. That way we kind of get a different walk down each pathway, we get a different taste of these girls, and we don't just get that through their change in tone, through their change in genre. We can now see that through different visual representations as well. I'm sorry it took so long to get out there, but fuck am I glad we have done it. That was absolutely incredible, and in my opinion, the best way we could have capped off 2024 by taking in this album in full, and now we get to hit reset. In the new year, moving forward, I am hoping to get a reaction video out at least once a week, and I'll probably set a day for those. I'll probably aim to do those by a certain day. Once I work out a schedule, I will get it out to you, but we will mix and match some things because I've done some NASCAR reactions before, and the NASCAR fan group are wanting me to bring more of those into the mix. I've had suggestions from other people at home for different type of reactions to do, and I'm always open to reactions that you guys recommend. So feel free to let me know in the comment section down below. Are there any more warning songs I need to keep my eyes out for? Because I can only assume, since it's taken me so long to do this album review, that they've already got other stuff in the works. Are there other bands you want me to check out? You know, is there any other things aside from music that you want me to check out? 2025 is the year that I am going to push for this channel to gain our first 1,000 subscribers. The community we are building here is full of some passionate people, and I'm seriously thankful for each and every one of you that not only tune out to these videos but have subscribed in the past, support myself by liking my content, by viewing my content, by leaving comments, by reaching out to me on social media. I wouldn't be doing it without you guys. Thank you all so much. But that's it from me, guys. I'm out of here. Have a safe new year, considering I'll drop this before the new year goes down, and the next time we meet, it'll be 2025. And as always, I will catch you guys next time.